What if the thing you've been told to run toward at the moment of your death is actually the bait on a hook? What if that famous tunnel of white light, the one everyone posts about in near-death stories and comforting memes, isn't a doorway to peace at all, but a mechanism, a system, a beautifully lit cage? What if the symbol the modern world clings to as good is the oldest trick in the book? Why do we assume that anything bright is safe? Why are we so sure that the first thing we see after our last breath is automatically divine? Who taught us that story in the first place? And who benefits from us never questioning it? What if those people who float above hospital beds and describe a tunnel aren't just seeing heaven, but a spiritual funnel built into the architecture of this universe? And here's the part nobody tells you. Long before YouTube testimonials and clinical NDE research, ancient traditions were already talking about something eerily similar, and they weren't calling it liberation. They were calling it a test, a trap, a gate kept by things that don't exactly have your freedom in mind. Modern near-death experiences sound so soothing. The heart stops, the world fades, a tunnel appears, a bright presence radiates love. You feel peace, you see home. Cut, fade to white, roll credits. But if you rewind history and listen to the voices that were buried, banned, or rewritten, a different scene plays out. Ancient Gnostics whisper, "Do not follow the first light." Tibetan teachers warn, "Radiant visions can pull you back into rebirth." Egyptian priests inscribe spells not about walking into a glow, but about answering questions, facing judges, slipping past snares. Hermetic writings speak of rulers of the spheres, testing, blocking, redirecting souls who don't know what's really going on. So why does our age talk about a soft tunnel of salvation, while older traditions talk about illusions, gatekeepers, and luminous traps? Why did the narrative mutate from "be careful, the light can deceive" to "don't worry, just relax and go toward whatever shines"? But the real twist is this. When you line these sources up side by side, the contradictions start to look less like random differences and more like a cover-up, a cleaning job. Complexity scraped away so that we would stop asking dangerous questions. Now we have to ask, who benefits? Picture the image on your screen. One human figure, alone, standing before a massive vortex of light that feels almost impossible to resist. Every pixel screams invitation, warmth, safety, reunion. But look behind that figure. The space there is dark, silent, wide open, stretching into something that doesn't have a script yet. That's the moment nobody talks about. The half-second where the soul pauses instead of obeying the pull. The instant where saying no is still an option. If the tunnel is truly the only doorway to liberation, why does that option even exist? And if it's not, why were we trained to pretend there is no other path? Ancient lines from the Nag Hammadi texts describe powers who fabricate worlds and illusions to trap souls, to recycle human consciousness in a system that feeds them. They don't just imitate light, they weaponize it. Some researchers look at those passages and see pure metaphor. Others look at modern accounts of white tunnels and guiding beings and whisper, what if this is the same story, told in different language? Tibetan teachings from the Bardo talk about dazzling lights and peaceful visions that appear to the newly dead. Some lights are gateways up, Others are bait pulling you back into samsara. The danger is not that the lights are evil in a cartoon sense. The danger is that the soul confuses projection with home, fails to recognize a display as a test. The Egyptians thought passivity after death was lethal. They loaded their texts with spells so the soul could answer questions, bypass gatekeepers, avoid being devoured or sent back. They weren't telling people, relax, just float. They were saying, stay sharp. Across traditions separated by oceans and centuries, a pattern repeats. The afterlife is not an automatic escalator carrying everyone upward. It's a landscape of choices, illusions, and beings with their own agendas. Cut to the present. Our world tells a very different story. Bright tunnel, angels, relatives, follow the love. No warning label, no mention of counterfeit light, no mention of entities that might benefit from your return. So again, who edited the script? For the Gnostics, the answer was clear. The universe is not run by a singular, all-loving being. It's managed, at the lower levels, by the demiurge and his archons. These aren't cartoon villains twirling mustaches. They're cosmic administrators who control the material realm and the structures around it. According to them, the soul doesn't ascend just because the body drops. It passes through layers of deception, structures built by the demiurge that function like spiritual machinery. The tunnel, in this model, is not a gift. It's a product, a luminous conveyor belt that pulls you back into the system, wipes your memory, and drops you into a new life where you start from zero, again and again, never remembering that you've been here 1,000 times. Whether you take this literally or symbolically, the Gnostic warning is simple. Not everything that shines is on your side. If this feels like too much, like some edgy theory cooked up for clicks, anchor yourself in the texts that came long before any of us were born. The Egyptian funerary writings don't sketch a safe, glowing corridor. They map tests, passwords, guardians, and traps. Their answer to death is not surrender. It's know what you're doing. Tibetan teachings repeat it. Recognize the visions. Don't cling. Don't be blinded. Don't mix up brightness with truth. The Hermetic texts describe 7 spheres ruled by forces who question, deceive, and try to reclaim the soul. Light appears in their descriptions, but it's not always the light you want. Sometimes it's hypnotic, sometimes it's a net. Only the soul that remembers its origin, that knows I come from beyond this, walks through these luminous gates untouched. The forgetful soul gets redirected, sent back down. When you stack Gnostic, Egyptian, Tibetan, Hermetic, and early Christian hints about false angels of light together, something heavy lands. Either a lot of different cultures got strangely paranoid in the same direction, or they were all seeing pieces of the same mechanism and trying to warn whoever came after. And yet, what did later institutions do with that complexity? They flattened it. The early church, trying to unify belief, walked into a world buzzing with Gnostics, Hermeticists, Essenes, Zoroastrians, mystery schools. Many of these groups told people, you must wake up, you must discern. There are powers out there that don't work in your favor. That's not a message that helps build stable, obedient societies. So the doctrine simplified. The story became linear. At death, follow the good light, obey the heavenly beings, trust the system. Don't ask who built it. Don't ask if there are other exits. Don't ask why some texts warn about deception. Just go. It was easier to teach, easier to control, easier to sell to frightened humans desperate for certainty. Complexity inspires questioning. Simplicity inspires obedience. That one sentence alone is enough to start a comment war because it implies something uncomfortable. Maybe the reason your culture's story about death is so neat and comforting is not because it's the only truth, but because it's the most useful version for people in power. Give the masses a bright, simple afterlife, and they'll endure a lot in this one. Tell them it's all handled if they just comply, and you've got a very manageable population. Does that sound extreme? Or does it sound suspiciously familiar? Now layer politics onto this. A population terrified of death is easy to manipulate. A population that thinks heaven is automatic if they obey earthly and religious authority is also easy to manipulate. You can rule through fear, or you can rule through comfort. Both keep people from asking too many questions about the structures they live and die inside. Over time, teachings about archons, luminous traps, and gatekeepers turned into heresy. Texts were buried, burned, or edited. What survived was a safe, cleaned-up story. Same imagery, less danger. The tunnel was turned into a symbol of salvation, not a crossroads. The soul was recast as a passenger, not a navigator. Cut to the age of science. Now the suppression takes a new form. Near-death experiences are dissected in labs. The tunnel is explained as a trick of the brain. Oxygen levels, optic nerves, neurochemistry. See? They say. There's nothing spiritual here, just mechanics. That move does something subtle. It doesn't just question superstition, it erases thousands of years of metaphysical mapping. It makes the entire conversation about afterlife structure sound childish. People stop reading ancient warnings as data and start dismissing them as myth. Religious control narrows the map. Scientific reduction flattens it. The result is the same. You're not supposed to treat the tunnel as a choice. You're supposed to treat it as either guaranteed heaven or meaningless brain noise. In both cases, you're not trained to ask, what if it's a real structure designed to keep me looping? Yet the old warnings didn't evaporate. They went underground, into esoteric circles, secret societies, mystical texts that survived by hiding in plain sight. And those texts keep whispering the same thing: know the path before you walk it. Don't let the first thing you see own you. Awareness is liberation. Ignorance is captivity. So let's go back to the thumbnail scene and push it further. The body is gone. You're standing in a place that doesn't feel like a place. The tunnel isn't a metaphor anymore. It's directly in front of you, roaring without sound, blazing without heat, overflowing with faces you love and voices calling your name. Every instinct you've ever had about safety, love, and belonging is screaming, go, this is it, you're home. But something in you, maybe a tiny fragment carved by everything you've questioned in life, says, wait. You don't move. The light waits. It doesn't like waiting. The glow seems to pulse, just a little, like it's leaning closer. Maybe the faces look softer, sadder. Come on, they say. Don't make this harder than it has to be. This is the moment the ancient texts hint at but never dramatize. the refusal. According to Gnostic interpretations, if the soul refuses the artificial light, something cracks. The brilliance flickers, the voices lose their script, the comforting scenery glitches around the edges. The construct that was pretending to be your final destination starts to show what it really is: a guided corridor, pointing one way only. And as that illusion thins, other possibilities come into view. They're not flashy, they don't sparkle, they're not pushing themselves onto you. They feel like vast, silent directions, roads made of nothing but potential. To most souls, untrained and terrified, that silence feels like annihilation, so they bolt back to the bright funnel. To an awakened soul, that silence feels like truth. In one Gnostic text called the Book of the Great Invisible Spirit, there's a hint that the awakened soul is not seized by the luminous snares and instead passes through the silence toward the real. Silence as a doorway, not a tunnel, not a performance, a threshold that doesn't sell itself. Tibetan teachings echo this with the idea of the clear light. They say the highest reality doesn't lure you. It doesn't call your name or project your family at you. It simply is. Most souls can't handle that. They cling to the first strong, emotional light they see, the one that plays back their attachments like a movie. That's what drags them back into rebirth. Only the consciousness that can stand in the presence of raw, uncolored awareness without freaking out can merge with the true light, which means the bright tunnel, the one that feels like a cosmic marketing campaign, might be a decoy. Hermetic writings add another layer. They speak about an intermediate space, a sort of no man's land where the soul that steps away from the false light is left unhandled by any force, archonic or divine. No one's holding your hand there. No one is pulling you back. No one is telling you what to believe. In that space, you see yourself, not your name, your job, your gender, your history, just your consciousness, stripped. If it remembers where it comes from, it moves upward, beyond the spheres and their rulers. If it doesn't, if it's still looking for something external to cling to, it drifts back to the constructs that feel like home, the tunnel, the funnels, the systems. In this frame, refusing the tunnel isn't some edgy act of cosmic rebellion for the sake of rebellion. It's recognition. It's the soul saying, I remember. I don't need this. But here's where things hit you personally. You don't wait until you're dead to learn how to do that. The refusal is rehearsed now. Every time you feel pressured to follow what everyone else is doing just because it's bright, loud, and promising comfort, you're facing a micro-tunnel. Every time an institution tells you, don't overthink it, just trust us, you're standing in front of a glow. Every time you feel an inner voice whisper, step back, look again, and you listen, you're strengthening the exact muscle that will matter in that post-mortem moment. Gnostic teachers said, awakening isn't a special effect. It's a slow, stubborn practice of seeing through illusions. If you bring forth what is within you will save you. That line isn't about external rescue. It's about the inner compass that, one day, has to decide whether to walk into the tunnel or walk away. Tibetan masters say your reaction to fear and attachment in life mirrors your reaction in the bardo. If you panic in uncertainty, you'll cling to the brightest promise. If you've trained yourself to breathe in discomfort, to stay conscious when everything in you wants to numb out, you'll be able to face that silent alternative beyond the tunnel without losing your mind. Hermetic tradition pushes it even deeper. The universe mirrors you. If you need external authority, you get structures that dominate you. If you've met your own shadow, stopped running from your own darkness, then you're not so impressed by radiant illusions. You become the sort of soul that archons can't bargain with. You're not seduced by the first thing that glows. You know that real light doesn't beg. So what does all of this mean for your actual life, right now, watching this on a screen? It means your spiritual destiny isn't owned by any religion, government, or cosmic bureaucracy. It's shaped by how awake you're willing to be, by how often you choose to question instead of comply, by whether you let comfort hypnotize you, by whether you dare to think, even for a moment, what if the thing everyone calls the way is just the easiest way to manage me? Now, we have to ask again, who benefits from you believing that the tunnel is the only option? Who gains from a world where everyone is sure that death is either nothing or a single hallway into a pre-approved heaven? Who loses if you start treating the afterlife as a landscape you can navigate instead of a conveyor belt you must obey? That's not a rhetorical flourish. That's the pressure point. Some of you will feel something in your chest when you hear this. A tug that says, "I've always suspected it's not that simple." Others will feel anger, maybe. How dare you question the light? That's exactly where the comment war begins. Is the white tunnel a guide or a mechanism, a gift or a leash, revelation or trap? Say it, argue it, because the more you talk about it, the more this idea refuses to go back underground. And here's the final stake in the ground. The anchor you'll remember the next time you see that cliché walking into the light scene in a movie. Ask yourself, if the soul really carries a spark of the divine, why would it need a tunnel at all? Why would an all-encompassing source have to lure you in with special effects, with faces, with emotional manipulation? What if the real home doesn't need to call you, doesn't need to bait you, doesn't need to impress you? What if the real journey only begins when you're willing to step away from the thing everyone else runs toward without thinking? So I'll leave you with the question that turns you from spectator into main character. Someday, whether you like it or not, you'll be standing in front of something that looks a lot like that tunnel. It will feel beautiful. It will feel safe. It will feel obvious. Will you walk into it? Or will you pause, feel for that deeper spark inside you, and turn to face the darkness that might not be darkness at all, but the doorway nobody advertised? Drop your answer below. Fight about it. Share it. Because the search for truth about death and about that light doesn't end in this video. It starts right now, with you deciding whether you'll follow the script you were given or write your own.